My brother Leo and I were a team. He was older, always looking out for me. He taught me how to ride a bike and how to be brave even when I was scared of the dark. We lived in a small, quiet town where nothing exciting ever happened. Our days were filled with exploring the woods behind our house and sharing secrets nobody else knew. Leo was my best friend, my protector, my whole world. I never imagined that one day I would be the one who had to protect him. Everything felt safe and normal, just like any other summer afternoon. Everything changed on a Tuesday. I came home from school, and the house was too quiet. Leo was always home before me, usually with music playing from his room, but today there was only silence. I called his name, but there was no answer. I went to his room, and it was empty. His backpack was on the floor, but he was gone. A strange feeling, a cold knot of worry began to form in my stomach. Something was wrong. I could feel it deep in my bones, a kind of quiet alarm bell ringing in my head. On his desk, right next to his favorite comic book, was a folded piece of paper. My name, Alara, was written on it in his messy handwriting. I unfolded it with trembling hands. The message was short and terrifying. It said, "They have me. Don't tell anyone. You have 24 hours." Below the words was a strange symbol, a circle with a jagged line through it. My heart started pounding so hard I thought it would burst out of my chest. 24 hours. The words echoed in my mind, 24 hours to save my brother. At first, I was frozen by fear. My legs felt like they were made of jelly, and I couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream for my parents, to call the police, to tell an adult. But Leo's words were clear. Don't tell anyone. He trusted me, and I trusted him. He must have had a reason for writing that. The fear was a giant wave trying to pull me under, making me feel small and helpless. I sank onto his bed, the note clutched in my hand, tears blurring my vision. How could I, a 12-year-old girl, possibly save him from something so dangerous? After a few minutes of pure panic, something inside me shifted. I thought of Leo's smile, the way he always told me I was stronger than I thought. The fear was still there, a cold, heavy blanket, but another feeling started to grow underneath it, determination. Crying wasn't going to bring him back. I had to be brave, not just for myself, but for him. I wiped my tears, took a deep breath, and stood up. I had to think like Leo. I had to be the hero he always told me I could be. The clock was ticking, and I couldn't waste another second feeling sorry for myself. I looked at the note again, focusing on the strange symbol. I had seen it somewhere before. I searched his room, my mind racing. Where had I seen it? I opened his drawers, looked through his notebooks, and checked under his bed. Then I saw it. On the spine of an old adventure book he loved, the same symbol was embossed in gold. The book was called The Serpent's Riddle. It was a story about a hidden treasure and a secret society. This was it. This had to be the first clue. Leo was communicating with me in our own secret language of stories. I flipped through the book, my fingers flying over the pages. Inside, a specific page had a corner folded down. On that page, a sentence was underlined in pencil. The journey begins where the river meets the old stone bridge. The old stone bridge. It was a forgotten landmark on the edge of town. A place Leo and I used to pretend was a gateway to a magical kingdom. He was telling me where to go. Hope sparked inside me. A tiny flame in the darkness. He knew I would understand. He knew I would follow the clues he left for me. I grabbed my backpack, stuffing a flashlight, a water bottle, and a granola bar inside. I had to be prepared for anything. As I snuck out the back door, the world outside seemed different, more menacing. Every shadow looked like a threat, and every sound made me jump. The familiar streets of my town now felt like a dangerous maze. The journey to the bridge was only a mile, but it felt like 100. I had to push past the fear that whispered in my ear, telling me to turn back. I couldn't. I had to keep going for Leo. I reached the old stone bridge as the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The place looked eerie in the fading light. The river flowed quietly beneath it, and the air was still. I looked around, searching for the next clue. Under the bridge, carved into one of the support stones, I found the same serpent symbol from the note. Below it was an arrow pointing east, towards the abandoned warehouse district by the old railway tracks. The trail was real. I was on the right path. This small victory gave me a burst of energy and renewed my resolve. The warehouse district was even scarier than the bridge. Tall, dark buildings loomed over me like silent giants. Broken windows stared down like empty eyes. I felt so small and alone. The silence was heavy, broken only by the sound of my own footsteps echoing on the pavement. I checked my watch. Hours had passed. The night was closing in, and so was my doubt. What if this was a trap? What if I was walking right into danger? My bravery started to crumble, replaced by the cold, familiar feeling of fear. I wanted to run home and hide under my covers. Leaning against a cold brick wall, I almost gave up. The task felt too big, too impossible. I was just a kid. How could I face whatever was waiting in the darkness? Tears streamed down my face as I thought about failing Leo. The thought of him being hurt because I wasn't brave enough was unbearable. I closed my eyes and pictured his face, remembering all the times he had encouraged me. "You can do it, Alara," I could almost hear him say. "You're the bravest person I know." His voice in my memory was the strength I needed. That memory was like a lifeline. My love for my brother was stronger than my fear. I couldn't let him down. He was counting on me, and only me. I wiped my tears away with a determined grit I didn't know I possessed. I wasn't just Alara, the scared little sister anymore. I was Alara, Leo's rescuer. I took out my flashlight, its beam cutting a path through the darkness. With a deep breath, I started moving again, walking towards the largest warehouse at the end of the street, the one with a single dim light glowing in a high window. I found a side door that was slightly ajar and slipped inside the massive warehouse. It was filled with old crates and dusty machinery, creating a maze of shadows. I moved slowly, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and adrenaline. From deeper inside, I heard muffled voices. I crept closer, hiding behind a stack of wooden boxes. I peeked through a gap and saw two men standing over a chair, and in that chair, tied up but unharmed, was Leo. A wave of relief washed over me, so powerful it almost made my knees buckle. He was okay. The men were distracted, arguing about what to do next. They were just bullies from an older school, known for causing trouble. They had taken Leo's new bike, and he must have stood up to them. This wasn't some evil secret society. It was a stupid prank that had gone too far. Seeing them, my fear turned into anger. How dare they scare us like this? How dare they tie up my brother? I saw my chance. A large metal pipe was leaning against the wall nearby. An idea, crazy and bold, formed in my mind. I had to create a distraction. With all my strength, I pushed the pipe. It crashed to the concrete floor with a deafening clang that echoed through the entire warehouse. The men jumped, startled, and spun around, shouting in confusion. "What was that?" one yelled, pulling out a flashlight. "Go check it out," the other commanded. As one of them moved towards the noise, away from Leo, I knew this was my moment. While they were looking in the wrong direction, I sprinted from my hiding spot directly towards my brother, my pocket knife ready in my hand. "Alara," Leo whispered, his eyes wide with surprise and pride. I quickly sawed at the ropes around his wrists. They were thicker than I expected, and for a terrifying second, I thought it wouldn't work. But then the rope snapped free. "Let's go!" I hissed. We didn't wait for the men to figure out what was happening. We ran, hand in hand, weaving through the maze of crates and out the side door into the cool night air. We didn't stop running until we saw the familiar lights of our street. We had made it. He was safe. In that moment, I wasn't scared.